Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Hello and welcome to today's class. My name's Danny and I will be your instructor for today. This is the Shoulders Beginners class. It's made for people who have shoulder pain and haven't got any experience of doing shoulder-based exercises. We're going to be targeting all of the muscles in and around the shoulder and some into the upper back as well. We're aiming to improve strength, flexibility, coordination, things like that around the shoulder. All of the equipment that you will need for today's class will be shown on screen. So all you need to do is grab a drink and then we will get started with our warm-up. Let's get started with our warm-up then. So with this warm-up, we're aiming to increase our heart rate, activate the muscles, increase mobility, all ready for our exercise class that's coming up. So we're going to start off nice and simple with just some marching on the spot. We're going to be doing this for 1 minute. Do it at your own pace, whether you want to go nice and slow or quite fast, completely up to you. Fab, let's get going for 1 minute then. Make sure we're swinging those arms, lifting the feet nice and high whilst we're marching. Remember, we're working to increase that heart rate. So just taking it at your own pace. That's great, keep swinging those arms, lifting those knees nice and high. And we are nearly halfway there. Great. Again, taking it at your own pace, just as we start the warm-up. Okay, 10 more seconds. Great, and bring that down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some jogging on the spot this time. We're only going to go for 30 seconds this time. Again, doing it at your own pace. Just make sure that you've got a nice, safe environment around you. Okay, when we're ready, off we go. Again, make sure we're moving those arms and lifting those feet nice and high off the floor. That's it, halfway there. Good, 5 seconds left. And bring it down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to do some hip circles. So for this one, I want your feet sort of shoulder width apart on the floor and the hands just resting on your hips. We're going to start off with very small circles. So we're going to sort of push the hips to one side, bring them round to the front and round to the back. Again, just do them at your own pace, and also with the circle, just make it as small or as big as you can, depending on how you're feeling. We're going to go for 30 seconds. When we're ready, off we go. That's it. So just make sure we're concentrating on really pushing those hips all the way around the movement. That's good. Because we're coming up to halfway, we're going to switch and go in the opposite direction. Again, like I said, if you need to do small circles with how you're feeling at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Or nice and big circles, doesn't matter. Great, and come to a stop. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to go into doing some leg swings. For this one, I'm going to do it just freestanding, but if you need to, you can hold onto a wall, hold onto the back of a chair, whichever works best for you. We're going to start off with our right leg. So again, like I said, holding onto something for stability if needs be. We're going to go for 30 seconds. We're just going to lift the leg out in front of us and then slowly lift behind. Okay, off we go. So just swinging that leg at your own pace. Like I said, if you need to hold on to something, then that's absolutely fine. Good. That's great. Keeping the knee nice and straight and just swinging back and forwards. That's it. We've got 5 seconds left on this leg and then we'll switch over. Great. Okay. So if you need to swing the chair around to the other side or reposition yourself so that you can hold onto the wall the opposite way, that's fine. And then we'll go for 30 seconds again. So on the left leg this time, swinging back and forth. That's great. Again, just doing it at your own pace, lifting the leg in a range of movement that's comfortable for you. Good. Okay, 10 seconds left on this leg. Great, and come to a stop, just back into our resting position. So the next activity that we're going to do is going to be with our arms. We're going to go for some arm circles. So what we'll do, we'll start off with our right arm because we started with our right leg. We'll pop our hand out to the side, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with some circles, just going backwards like this. If you need to do the circles nice and small, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, if you can, then we're going to do nice big circles with the arm. Again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you at the moment. And again, we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I said, make sure we're doing this one in a comfortable range of movement. It can be as small or as big as you need at the moment. That's great. We've done 15 seconds on this arm. That's great. Last 5 seconds. Brilliant, okay. And this time we're going to do the exact same on the left arm. So again, arm out to the side. You can do small circles if you need to. Obviously big ones if you can as well. Fab, off we go, 30 seconds on this one. That's great. Again, just going at the speed that sort of works for you at the moment. If you need to move nice and slowly through this movement, that's fine. Obviously if you can, then obviously we'll go a bit quicker. That's great, and just 5 more seconds. Perfect, okay. Last exercise of our warm-up, we're going to do some movements with our spine. So we're going to work in 4 different directions. We're going to go for a forward movement, a backwards movement, and then side to side as well. So what I'll do first is I'll show you what we're going to do, and then I'll explain how many we're going to do after that. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. For the forwards movement, I'd like you to have your hands resting on the front of your legs. And then what I want you to do nice and slowly is just come down as far as you can until you start to feel that bit of a stretch in the lower back, and then return up to your neutral position. Then we'll go for the opposite. So this time I'll turn to the side to show you, you're going to lean backwards. Again, just a gentle movement, and back up to the neutral position. Then hands down by our sides. Doesn't matter which side you do first, but you're going to bend over to the side, back up, and over to the other side. We're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, just going as far as you can. Okay, we'll do them all together. So if we start at the front, we're going to come down, just go as far as you can, and then back up to that neutral position. Then we're going to lean back, again to the neutral position, hands down by our sides. Drop one hand down the side of the leg, back up, and then over to the side. So that's 1 repetition. So now we'll go for our second. So again, we're going to come back down the front, nice and slowly and controlled. And then this time lean backwards. That's great. And then down to one side, back up and over into the other direction. Brilliant. On to number 3. So back to the front, and then down as far as you can, and back up, and then leaning back and back into that neutral position. Hands down by our sides, and we'll go over to one side and back up, then over to the other side and back up. And now for number 4, back to the front, leaning forwards and back up. Hands on our hips, and we'll lean backwards, back to our neutral position and down to one side and back over to the other direction. Brilliant. Last one now, hands back on the front. We're going to lean down as far as we can, back up to the middle, hands on our hips, and lean back to the middle. And then this time we'll drop down one side, back up, and then down to the other side. Okay, that completes our warm-up. So if you want to go and grab a bottle of water ready for our exercise class, and we'll get started. Okay, for this exercise, we are going to do isometric shoulder abduction. What that means is we're doing an isometric muscle contraction. That means that when we're contracting the muscle, we're not actually moving the arm. So we're contracting the muscle whilst keeping it in one set position. So we can do this against the wall. So if you've got a wall handy, you can stand next to the wall to do this. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to show you sat on the chair using the back of the chair as my resistance. So if you're sitting down with a tall chair, or whether you're doing it against the wall, it doesn't matter. You're going to have the arm down by your side with the elbow bent at 90 degrees. You're going to push the outside of the elbow into either the back of the chair or the wall. You're going to push as hard as you can into that chair, and then try and reduce the pressure by about 50%. Okay, so we're using about 50% of our strength, and we're going to hold it there for 10 seconds. Okay, so hold that muscle contraction, off we go for 10 seconds. Okay, so it might not look like you're doing a lot in this exercise, but you should be able to feel that contraction in the muscle as you're pushing the arm into the wall. That's great, and then stop there and just relax for a couple of seconds. What we're going to do next is I'm going to turn the chair around. You can just turn around on the wall. And we're going to do the opposite side. Okay, so same thing, elbow at 90 degrees. And we're going to push in as hard as you can into the wall or the chair, and then reduce that down to 50%. So you find what your 50% muscle contraction is, and let's hold for 10 seconds. That's it. So squeezing those muscles in the shoulder, push in as hard as you can into the back of the chair. Okay, and relax from there. That's great. So what we're going to do now, we're going to repeat that 3 more times on each arm. Okay, so if I turn the chair. Great. And if you need a little bit longer in between exercises, just pause the video and replay when you are ready. If not, then we will just get started on the other arm. So elbow at 90 degrees, and let's push into the chair. Remember, we're doing 50% of our muscle contraction. So off we go and hold for 10 seconds. That's it. So you should be able to feel those muscles contracting and pushing into the wall. That's great. If you are against the wall and you've got the whole arm against the wall, try and push evenly throughout the whole forearm. Okay, and stop there. That's great. And we're going to switch over to the other side. So turn yourself around, and we'll go over onto the other arm and push out into the chair. 50% of the muscle contraction, off we go for 10 seconds. That's great. Pushing into the wall or the back of the chair, whichever you're using. That's great. And relax from there. Okay, that's halfway then. So if you do need to take a little bit of a break, make sure you do pause the video. If not, we're just going to go straight into the other side. So either spin yourself round on the wall or on the chair, whichever one you are using. And then we'll go again on the other side. Okay, so elbow at 90 degrees, push into the wall. Remember, you're doing that 50% muscle contraction, and off we go for 10 seconds. That's great. And relax from there. Okay, reposition yourself and we'll get ready to go again on the other side, using the repositioning as your break. Okay, elbow at 90 degrees, against the wall or the back of the door, push in at 50% and off we go for 10 more seconds. That's great, and relax from there. Okay, so we've got one more on each side and then we are finished for this exercise. So reposition yourself again, ready to go for the last one on each side. Elbow at 90 degrees and push at 50% of that muscle contraction. Off we go for 10 seconds. That's great. Remember, if you've got the whole arm against the wall, make sure you're pushing evenly throughout the forearm. And relax from there. Okay, last one. So repositioning ourselves, using that repositioning as our rest time. Okay. Elbow at 90 degrees against the wall or chair, and off we go. Push into the wall or chair at 50% of your strength for 10 seconds. Okay, that's great, and relax from there. So that is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a 20-second break now. If you want to get a quick drink, then make sure you get one, and we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, the next exercise is called a pendulum swing. For this one, we're going to need something that's a light weight. So I'm going to use a water bottle. If you've got a water bottle handy, you can use that. If not, just try and find something that's got a light weight, whether it's a tin of beans or anything like that. Or if you've got some weights yourself, then you can use a light weight. What we're going to do, you also need a surface that you can lean on. So whether it's a chair, it needs to be sort of a relatively high chair, or a tabletop, anything like that. And what we're going to do, we're going to take the weight or the bottle in one hand, and then we're going to place our other hand on the surface that we've got, have our feet in sort of a split stance, and make sure there's enough room for our arm to hang down. It doesn't matter which arm we do first. You're going to hang the arm down, and then you're just going to very gently start moving the arm in small circles and try and relax the arm so that the momentum starts to take control. Okay, so the arm's relaxed and we're just swinging the arm like so. Okay, we're going to do 1 minute on one arm, then we'll take a little bit of a rest, and then we'll do 1 minute on the other arm. Okay, so make sure you've got your equipment. If you need to pause the video whilst you go and get it, then that's fine. And then once we're ready, we're going to get ourselves into a position, so in a bit of a split stance, using the surface to support us. Hold the arm down in front of you, start some very light circles, and then just try and relax that arm and let momentum move the arm. Okay, for 1 minute. So it's really important on this one that we're trying to relax the arm that's swinging. Okay, so it's just using momentum. When we get to halfway, I'll let you know, and we can try changing the direction. Make sure that when we're doing this one as well, that our back is nice and flat. Okay, you shouldn't be feeling any pressure in the back. That's good, just swinging the arm, nice and relaxed. Okay, we're getting to halfway, so try and slow those circles down and then change the direction. Keeping that back nice and straight. If you find that leaning at this distance is a bit too difficult, then just use a higher surface like a table or a chest of drawers or anything like that. Okay, and when we get to a minute, just try and slow those circles down until the arm stops, and then slowly come back up to a standing position. Okay, we're going to take 20 seconds break, and then we will come back and we'll do the other arm. Okay, let's get started then on the other arm. So exactly the same process. We're going to pick up our water bottle or our lightweight, whatever it is that we're using. We're going to go into our split stance, pop the other arm down on the surface, make sure there's enough room for the arm to swing. And then we're going to start off with very light circles and get that momentum swinging the arm. Off we go for a minute. Okay, really try and relax the arm. So once you've started, the purpose of the weight is that once we've started, that should then help with the momentum building so that you can relax the muscles and the arm will still swing. Keeping that back nice and straight, remember. And then when we get to 30 seconds, which we are about to now, we're going to slow down the circles until it stops and then try and change the direction. Good. Just using that weight to guide the arm round. Okay, a few more seconds and then start to slow the circles down into a stop. Okay, and then we're going to stand from there. And that is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a 20-second break, grab yourself a drink if you need one, and then we'll go on to the next exercise. Okay, for this exercise, we're going to do something called a bilateral external rotation. All that means is that we're going to be using both arms at the same time, and we're going to be rotating the arms out to the side. So what we're going to do, have the feet shoulder width apart just to steady ourselves. We're going to have the arms down by our sides, and then you're going to bend the elbows to 90 degrees. Keep the elbows tucked in as close to the body as you can. And from here, you're just simply going to rotate the hands out to the side just as far as you can go, and then coming back in to a neutral position. When we get to that back position of the exercise, I want you to really think about squeezing the back of your shoulders, trying to push yourself as far as you can into that movement, okay? So we're going to do 12 repetitions, and we're going to do 2 sets through, so we'll have a break in between. But for now, for this one, we're going to do 12, okay? So into the starting position, and when we're ready, off we go. Squeezing the elbows into the body, rotating the arms, squeezing at the end, and back in. Nice and slowly and controlled. Like I said before, just going as far as you can. If you can't get as far as I am, that's absolutely fine. If you can get further than I am, then that's also fine. Just go as whatever feels right for you. That's great. Let's do 5 more. Okay, nice steady breathing on this one. We're squeezing those muscles in the shoulder, okay? So when we get to the back, squeeze those muscles and come back in. Let's do 2 more. That's great, okay, and then relax there. So we're gonna have a 20-second break. If you need a quick drink, make sure to grab one, and then we'll come back for the second set. Okay, back for our second set. So we're going to do the exact same thing again. Feet shoulder width apart to steady ourselves. Hands in this position. So we've got the elbows at 90 degrees and the elbows tucked in next to our body. And off we go. We're going to open the hands out to the side, squeeze the shoulders and bring them back in. Okay, bring them out and back in. 10 more then. Make sure we're squeezing at the end of that movement. Just going as far as you can. We want to work in that pain-free range of movement. If you're feeling pain in the shoulders, then you might just be pushing too far. So make sure we just bring the movement down a little bit. Okay, let's go for 5 more. And 2 more. Nice steady breathing. Very good, and relax. Okay, so that's it for that exercise. We're going to take a 20-second break, grab yourself a drink if you need one, and then we'll come back onto the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise that we're doing is called shoulder circles. So we're going to start with our feet shoulder width apart. The hands are going to come down by our sides and then we're going to lift them out to about 30 degrees. From here, we're going to do very gentle circles with the arm. The bigger the circle, the better, but we want to stay within a pain-free range. So if you can only do small circles in the pain-free range, that's absolutely fine. If you can do much bigger circles, that's absolutely fine as well. Just work out where you're at the moment and stick at that. Okay, so we're going to do 20 seconds of the circles. When we get to 10 seconds, I'll tell you to switch direction. And we're going to do that 3 times through, okay? So into position, arms out at 30 degrees, and off we go. It doesn't matter whether we go backwards or forwards first, because we're going to swap at 10 seconds. So like we said, the bigger the circle, the better. Just go at what works for you, and now switch direction. You might find that in one direction you can do a big circle, in the other one you can do a smaller circle. That's absolutely fine. Whichever works, okay. And then rest there. Give the arms a little bit of a shake. We're going to have a few seconds for a break. If you need a little bit longer, then just pause the video and then come back when you are ready. If not though, let's go into the second repetition. So arms at 30 degrees and off we go with the circles. Do them at your own pace as well. Just whatever works for you at the moment. Okay, and then let's change direction. That's good. And relax from there. Okay, give those arms a shake again. Same again, we're going to have a few seconds rest. If you do need longer, make sure to pause the video. But if not, then let's go for our final repetition. Okay, off we go. Nice steady breathing on these ones. Okay, and change direction. That's great, and relax from there. Okay, so that is the end of that exercise. We're going to have a 20-second break now. Grab a drink if you need one, and then we will come back for the next exercise. Okay, so the next exercise that we're moving on to is called elbow taps. For this one, we're going to be down on the floor, so take your time getting there. If you need to pause the video, make sure that you do, and then just replay when you're in the right position. We're going to go into sort of a half plank position for this one. So our knees are going to stay on the floor and our feet, and then we're going to lean forwards and rest on our hands. So the hands should sit directly below the shoulders. That takes a little bit more pressure off the muscles in the arm because we're just using sort of the gravity. From here, what we're going to do, very slowly, we're going to lift one arm, tap the elbow of the other hand, and then switch over, okay? We're going to keep going with that movement for 20 seconds. When we get to 20 seconds, we'll stop, have a bit of a break, and then we'll come back and do the next one, okay? So when you're ready, into position, so hands directly under the shoulders, and off we go with 20 seconds. So elbow taps. That's good. If you feel like you can't get to 20 seconds at the moment, that's fine. Just stop when you feel like you can't do any more. That's it. Okay. And relax from there. Okay, great. So we're going to have a quick 20-second break. If you need a drink, then make sure to grab one, and then we'll come back and do this one for a second time. Okay, let's get going on our second set then. So we're going to get back into position. So on our knees, feet on the floor, just walk those hands out so that they're directly below the shoulders. And then off we go for another 20 seconds, just tapping the elbows. Make sure we're engaging our core muscles as well on this one, just to help us. Tap the elbows, and like we said before, if you need to stop before the 20, then do. And just take it at your own speed. Okay, and then walk the hands back in. And relax. And then in your own time, come back up into a standing position. That is the end of that exercise. So if you need a quick drink, go and get one. We're going to have 20 seconds and then we'll be back for the next exercise. Okay, this next exercise is called waist halos. For this one, you're going to need something with a light weight behind it. I'm going to use a water bottle. If you've got a water bottle, then that's great, you can use that. If not, any household item that is of a similar weight, so kind of beans or something like that. Or if you have got some small weights, then feel free to use one of those. So we're going to pick up our weight, and we're going to start with the weight in the front of us, like so, and then we're going to circle the weight round our waist. The body is going to stay completely still, so we're going to take the weight into one hand, pass it behind us, grab on with the other hand, and bring it back round to the front. Okay, so from the side, we're taking it round in one hand, using our other hand to hold on, and then bringing it round to the front. Okay, we're going to do a minute of this exercise. Go at your own pace. So if you need to go slowly, that's fine. If you can do it, relatively quickly, that's also fine. Just for a minute, then we'll have a quick break and then we'll go again. Okay? So get your weight and get ready, and off we go for a minute. So passing behind, keeping the rest of the body nice and still, so it's only our arms moving as we pass round our waist. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you can bring the items slightly higher as you come round. The higher it is, the harder the exercise. So we just keep taking the object round, passing it one hand to the other. Okay, keep going for a minute. Like I said, going at your own pace. If you need to go a little bit slower, that's fine. Great, keeping that breathing nice and steady throughout. 10 seconds left. Passing the item round. Okay, and come to a rest. Okay, so we're going to have a 20-second rest break now. If you need a quick drink, make sure to get one, and then we'll come back and repeat this exercise again. Okay, into our second set of this exercise. So pick up your weighted item and we're going to pass round in those circles again for a minute. Off we go. So like we said, at your own pace, also at their own height. So if you find that you can lift the bottle higher, then that's absolutely fine. If you find that's a little bit too painful, then you can bring the circles in nice and close. Whichever works best for you. If you're unable to get the hands all the way round to the back, then you can always take the bottle as far as you can, bring it back round the front, take it back round, just making sure that we keep the body still. That's great, okay. 15 seconds left on this one. Nice steady breaths. That's great, and relax there. Okay, so that is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a 20-second break, get yourself a drink if you need one, and we're going to come back for the next exercise. Okay, this next exercise is called a chest stretch or a pectoral stretch. We're basically going to be stretching the muscles across the front of the shoulder and into the chest. So for this one, we're going to pop the hands behind our back. If you can, you're going to hold on to your hands. If not, then just place the hands sort of on the hips as far back as you can get them. And then from there, it's a very subtle movement. You're just going to pull the shoulders back as much as you can, squeezing the shoulder blades together so that you get a stretch across the front of the chest and into the shoulders, okay? We're going to do 20-second holds and we're going to do 3 sets of that, okay? So find the comfortable position for you, whether that's hands together, whether it's hands just resting on the back of your hips, whichever, doesn't matter. And then from there, we're going to pull back and we're going to stretch for 20 seconds. Off we go. So nice steady breathing with this one. Try and relax into the stretch if we can. Pull those shoulders back as much as possible. Feeling that nice stretch across the front of the shoulders. Okay, and then relax from there. That's our first repetition. If you feel like you need a bit of a break in between going again, then make sure to pause the video and return when you feel like you're ready. If not, we're going to go straight into doing that again. So hands behind our back, and we're going to pull the shoulders back as far as we can, and hold for 20 seconds. That's great. So you should feel that stretch across the chest and into the front of the shoulder. That's great. 5 seconds left. Nice steady breathing and relax from there. Okay, brilliant. So again, we're just going to take a few seconds before we go again, but if you feel like you need longer, then make sure to pause the video and then come back when you're ready. But if not, then let's go for our third and final time. So hands together if you can, on your hips if not, and then pull the shoulders back as far as you can, and off we go for 20 seconds. Just pull the shoulders back to where you feel comfortable. If you're starting to feel pain as opposed to a gentle stretch, then we might just be going slightly too far. So just come back out of the stretch slightly. Okay, and relax from there. Well done. Okay, so that is the final exercise of today's class before we go into the cool down. So we're going to take 20 seconds, grab yourself a quick drink if you need one, and then I'll meet you back here for our cool down. Okay, let's get started with our cool down. So with the cool down, we're going to be focusing on bringing that heart rate back down, bringing our breathing rates back down, and sort of just relaxing the muscles after the class that you've done. So we're going to start off nice and easy with 30 seconds of deep breathing. So for the breathing, I'd really focus on breathing in through the nose and then breathing back out through the mouth. We're wanting those nice deep breaths. So when we are breathing in, try and think about sort of filling the rib cage, and then obviously releasing on the breath out. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So like I said, breathing in through the nose and back out through the mouth. And make sure, like we said, we're really trying to fill that rib cage with air when we're breathing in, and then breathing out nice and slowly. You might find that at the moment, because you've just finished the exercises, that it's a bit difficult to slow that breathing rate down, but just go at your own pace. Okay, fab. What we're going to go on to next, again, nice and easy, we're going to go on to some walking on the spot. So in the warm-up before, we were obviously trying to increase our heart rate with the marching and the jogging. This time we're trying to bring it back down. So we're going to go nice and slowly and just walk on the spot. Okay, for 30 seconds, off we go. That's great. So still swinging those arms like we were before, but obviously just in a bit more of a relaxed position on this one and going a little bit slower. That's great. That's halfway there. Five more seconds. Great. Okay, this time we're going to move on to doing some hip circles. So we did these in our warm-up before, but again, a bit like the walking, we're going to bring the pace down on this one. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips, and again, make the circles as small or as big as you can. And we're just going to go big circles with the hips, nice and slowly. We're going to do 30 seconds all together. Off we go. Bringing the pace down a little bit on this one, just moving through the full movement, nice and slowly. We can still concentrate on our breathing in these cool down exercises. So really trying to slow that breathing down. 10 more seconds. Great, okay. For the next movement, we're going to be going down to the floor. So take your time getting down. If you need to hold on to something, then do that. Nice and carefully onto the floor. And we're going to have the feet out in front, legs nice and straight. I want you to try and keep the knees as straight as possible with this one. And then we're going to rest the hands on the front of the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide down the legs just as far as you can. And we want to grip on to our legs as close as we can to our ankles, and we're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, so moving down just as far as you can, and then let's hold for 30 seconds. Off we go. Still focusing on that breathing when we're doing this movement, so breathing nice and slowly in and out, and we should feel that nice gentle stretch down the back of the legs. Okay, we're halfway there. Ten seconds left. And 5 seconds. Okay, and sit back up into that relaxed position. We're going to get ourselves back up into a standing position, but again, take your time. If you need to hold on to something to help you get up, then that's absolutely fine. Okie doke. Once we're up then, for the next movement, we're going to be doing some stretches, mobility work for the middle back. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. The hands this time are going to come up behind the head. And we're going to be doing 4 different movements. So we're going to be coming down into a forward position, back up and into a slightly extended position. Then we're also going to do some flexion to the side, back up into a middle position and over to the side. Okay, we might add in a little bit of rotation too, just to stretch a few extra muscles. We're going to go for 30 seconds. I want you to go at your own pace, and we're just going to move through all those different movements, just making sure that we're stretching all the right muscles. Okay, off we go all together. So coming forwards, back up into that slightly extended position, and back down, over to the sides, and then rotating. That's great. And again, we're going to go slightly forwards and up and slightly back. Then we're going to lean to the sides. And again, we might go slightly over 30 seconds, but we want to get all those movements back in. And the final rotation. Okay, and then bring the arms back down into our neutral position. We're going to finish off by doing 30 seconds of our deep breathing again. So we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, make sure we're trying to fill that rib cage there, and then release. Okay, off we go. So hopefully this breathing will be sort of easier now. Hopefully you'll be breathing that a little bit slower. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, really trying to fill that rib cage with air. And back down. Brilliant. Okay, well done everyone. So thank you for attending our exercise class today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope to see you very soon on our next session. Thank you.